This is the Good Neighbor Podcast, the place where local businesses and neighbors come together. Here's your host, Janice Smith.
Welcome to the Good Neighbor Podcast. Are you in need of partnership, resources, and opportunity to fuel your vision as an entrepreneur? One might be closer than you think. Today, I have the pleasure of introducing your good neighbor, Kane, with OnSpark. Kyle, how's it going?
Fantastic. Happy to be here. Thank you for having me, Janice.
I'm so excited you're here. And I'm also excited to learn all about your business. Tell us about your company.
Sure. Well, OnSpark is a global event series. We converge creators, founders, and funders to celebrate the entrepreneurial spirit. And our goal is to spark revolutionary ideas that help change the world one company at a time. And it's really about tapping into that flow state where we could feel the path of least resistance. It's like the feeling of swimming downstream, effortless effort. It doesn't feel like work anymore. And the magic of synchronicity starts to set in, and who and what we need shows up when and where we need it. And it's the pathway of true support and community. And that's what OnSpark is.
How did you get into this business?
As a former vice president of Universal Music Group, I spent most of my career crafting the taste and tone of artists and brands. And we built a couple of successful partnerships like Katy Perry and Samsung, and Miley Cyrus and Kylie Jenner and Daniel Wellington and Rihanna and Vita Coco. And from there, I learned that it's all about these artist and brand partnerships. I learned that we can accomplish more together than either of us can do on our own. So I segued out of my agency called 180 South Group, and I joined a venture studio, and we did a crowd fund last year. We got 1,000 new investors across 55 countries and 6 continents. And so my job as the CMO was to try to figure out, okay, why did these people invest in us? I mean, we had very little companies in market, very little profitability. And it turns out after 600-700 calls and a bunch of surveys that everyone in our community has this kind of common denominator. They're all looking for opportunities, opportunities to grow their skill sets, grow their bank accounts, grow their relationships, grow their networks, turn ideas into companies. So we decided to build OnSpark as the pathway to do that, as a way to converge our communities of founders and creators and investors. It's a place where deep, meaningful relationships get built. It's a place where we converge true community, and it's a place where we celebrate the entrepreneurial spirit.
You sound very passionate about this, more than any other ventures we've talked about before. Why that one brings such passion?
It's like a culmination of a lifetime of work. I mean, I made a lot of money for sexy brands, and I've made a lot of money for corporations, but very rarely did I have a chance to bottle that up and package it for small businesses. And that's what makes me a good neighbor, is that, I'm able to take what I know and take what I have and bottle it up and package it in a way that entrepreneurs can learn from. And when we say that we can fuel your vision as an entrepreneur, it's not just rhetoric. I mean, there are real tangible partnerships, resources, and opportunities that we have to deliver to our entrepreneurial community. And there's 150,000 of us around the world. So we've got our work cut out for us.
Okay, what are some myths or misconceptions about your industry?
Well, great question. So I would say we as event producers, we do a great job of packing the box and selling the hype, saying, hey, you're going to buy tickets to this event and stand on the shoulders of giants. And very rarely does that actually come to fruition. When the event's over and the lights are unplugged and the crickets come out and people are looking around like, WTF, like what happened to all the hype? So, what I learned is that the people that are coming to these events, they have a very clear purpose, whether they want to identify their passion, whether they want to learn what lights them on fire, whether they want to quantify happiness, they want to be more present in the now, or they have an idea they want to turn to a company. This is an opportunity for us to kind of turn the tables on that. The misconceptions about the event production world is that, events are often sell, pitch, renting booths, passing business cards. I'm a little bit of an introvert in that way. I don't like networking. I understand the value of networking to the business, and I certainly wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for a strong network. But I just don't like to introduce myself 100 times to the same people. Half of them don't even care. I don't like to hold a fake smile or posture. I feel, up 10 years ago, I had to slam 2 drinks just to walk into a room of strangers because I just didn't feel at home there. So now we've built something that's sort of like networking for introverts, where you learn more about people, you build these deeper, more meaningful relationships, and you don't have to pass business cards. There's misconceptions about what we're doing. It's not academic. It's not devotional. It's not ritualistic. It's not karmic. It's not through love or science. There's no sensations of mind modifications. It's not a journey of space and time. It's a journey from ignorance to knowledge, from good to great. It's practical first and life philosophy second. And that's a lot of the misconceptions around this space, is that you can buy a ticket and be, thrown into this world of connections. And really, it's not that. You have to show up, you have to do the work, and you have to be open to meeting people that can help change your life. And that's what we bring together.
That's awesome. I didn't know you were into networking. That's like the biggest thing that you do. That's like shocks you.
I despise networking, Janice. If I had never gone to another networking event, I would die a happy man.
Wow, I learned something about you today. So who are your target customers and how do you attract them?
Well, 3 lanes. So we have founders, creators, and investors. So founders are either people that have an idea for a business or an existing business, and they need resources to turn that next chapter in their entrepreneurial career. Investors, they need to stay relevant. They need to upskill. They need deal flow to keep up with wealth creation, keep up with inflation. And then we have creators, and they need to figure out how to increase the durability. They want to turn their audience into an asset and really focus on legacy instead of just tapping into the next trends. So when they come to our events, they're looking to identify business partners that are pre-vetted. So they don't have to meet 100 people and pass business cards to find the right people. Oftentimes they want to discover creative forms of investment, something that's non-traditional. Oftentimes they have problems with trust issues with other entrepreneurs, trust issues with the media. Oftentimes our community doesn't know what they don't know. So we have to try to help them figure out how to cut through the digital jungle and how to stretch their dollars correctly. Because, today's day and age, it doesn't take a war chest of capital to bring a company to market. And chances are the next great idea for a company is not going to come from someone who looks like me. It's not going to come from someone who looks like Warren Buffett. It's probably going to come from some 12-year-old girl sitting on her couch in New Delhi right now playing Minecraft. And the problem that we saw is that she doesn't see herself as a venture investor. She doesn't see herself as a founder. So we have to build an event series that comes to her that says, hey, what you're thinking of, the idea, the problem that you can solve is important. And here's a pathway to bring that to life.
Wow. Outside of work, what do you do for fun?
Well, I'm still a songwriter with Universal, so I write songs for some of your favorite pop stars, and I produce music and I play music from piano and guitar, percussion, and I really enjoy spending time now that I just moved to Florida from my rat trap of New York City. I really enjoy time in nature. I enjoy where any water meets land and just being present in those moments and just decompressing all the wonderful things happening around me and trying to prioritize what things deserve my energy and what things I should just let go.
Okay. So let's switch gears. Can you describe a hardship or life challenge you overcame? How it made you stronger? What comes to mind?
Just one. We could talk about the time I was robbed in Costa Rica, or when I was held at gunpoint in my underwear overnight, or when I spent time in a phone booth with no way to get home. But I guess for the sake of this theme of the interview, I will point to a business event related challenge. So 2 years ago, I bought the official rights to produce a Drake event at MetLife Stadium, and I raised $2 million to buy the rights. And Drake twisted his ankle, and so Live Nation canceled the event. And the money that we spent on that went back to the promoter who we bought the rights from. The promoter disappeared with the money. We had sold 26,000 tickets to this event at like $119. So I was in a precarious position because I didn't get the refund, so I couldn't pay back my investors. And also I had 26,000 people that bought tickets to an event that I had to figure out how to refund to avoid a class action lawsuit. So that was one of the most challenging times in my life because I didn't know a way out. I owed millions of dollars to 3 different people. I was stuck in the middle. Everyone was pointing to me like I did something wrong. And it was a very difficult challenge. And what I learned from that is not to be the victim of someone else's scheme. I don't spend money or send money to someone unless I can control the outcome of that. And if I buy the rights to something, then I'm the one that is on the contract, not someone else. And if I invest money into a company, then I'm rolling my sleeves up and I'm going to be involved in that company. I'm going to make sure that I can do everything possible for it to be successful, because every time that I've taken a lateral step and invested in someone else's thing that I don't have control over, oftentimes that thing becomes a mess and I'm the one left holding the bag. So I learned that. I've ingrained it. I wish I had a tattoo of it across my chest. I teach my team about these examples, and I do my best to try to avoid any scenario where I'm not in control of my dollar.
What would you tell a upcoming artist or entrepreneur how to fight things like that, how to keep the motivation going? Because you've had years of experience, so you're able to dust it off and go on. What about somebody who just started, who had to deal with something like that? What would be your word of encouragement for them?
The ebb and flow of the entrepreneurial spirit is not for the faint of heart. And I could come up with all kinds of wonderful phrases and recite things that people told me and mentors and advisors of mine. But, at the end of the day, if you don't have that resilience to get knocked down and keep getting up, then likely entrepreneur is not in the cards for you. I mean, unfortunately, no matter how much protection we have and how careful we are, this is part of the game. I mean, it's almost like a rite of passage as an entrepreneur, that if you haven't lost money in a business venture, you're probably not even sure what to do with it when you get it. So I think that it's an important part of the process. Just like giving back is an important part of the entrepreneurial cycle, getting knocked down is too. And I think that we learn more about those times when we're in the mud together and how we respond. We learn more about the character and the integrity and the resilience and the scrappiness of our team around us when things go bad. When everything is perfect, I don't know how people will react, but when things go bad and people are still by my side, I know those are the ones that I can go to battle with, and those are the ones that will be here no matter what. And so that's probably the best advice I could say is welcome the getting knocked down, because that's where you really get to learn about yourself and your team.
Awesome. Well, Kyle, please tell our listeners one thing they should remember about OnSpark.
OnSpark is the way forward for any entrepreneur who's looking to turn the next chapter in their career. Whether you're looking for an idea to fund, or you're looking for the next great founder, or you're looking to tap into a network and a community of people who can truly support you no matter what, this is the place to go. This is not a place where you're going to show up and pass out business cards or pitch your self-help book. This is a place where you can truly build deeper, more meaningful relationships with each other so that we can put a big dent in this planet together and really make an impact and focus on our legacy. And that's the most important thing to me and the people around me. And I welcome any of you and your audience to join us in this mission.
How can our listeners learn more about OnSpark?
Well, you can go to onspark.com, ONSPARK, or you can reach out to me. There's some wonderful collateral we've built. There's some great videos that we put together for content to help entrepreneurs to take that next step in their career. And I'm always personally available. You can reach out to Kyle at onspark.com and just send me a note, and I'll set up a time, and my team will make sure that we have a chance to connect and get to know each other.
Well, Kyle, I really appreciate you being on the show. We wish you and your business the best moving forward.
Thank you, Janice. Much love to you and the family.
Thank you for listening to the Good Neighbor Podcast. To nominate your favorite local businesses to be featured on the show, go to gnppalmbeach.com. That's gnppalmbeach.com. Or call 561-783-8999.